Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop, and welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at La Marzocco. If you go to their website, lamarzoccoUSA.com, you'll find all of the amazing espresso equipment to peruse, to investigate. It's a beautiful site. I mean, it's a lot like their machines. It's a kind of company that, because they've been doing this for almost 100 years, making espresso machines by hand in Florence, Italy, since 1927, they have developed, it's a household name in coffee. When you work in coffee, you know not only about La Marzocco, chances are you've worked on one of their machines and are like, breathe a sigh of relief. As a professional, you go behind the bar, you're like, oh, they have a La Marzocco. You know, I truly feel that is one of the telltale signs of a company that listens to its customers, in this case, coffee shop owners who need reliable, beautiful, functional, innovative equipment. So when you go to lamarzoccoUSA.com, look for what suits your needs in your cafe. But better yet, I would talk to them directly. Email info@lamarzoccoUSA.com, and one of their sales folks will get right back to you and will help you through the process of selecting the right equipment for your cafe. Now, today's episode is also brought to you by rattleware.com. Now, rattleware.com is a website that shows you a lot of the equipment and all of the small wares that Rattleware produces that your cafe, actually, you might have some of their products right now. And the thing is, you might not know it. And that's kind of what they like. They like being behind the scenes a little bit. They like helping you stand out with espresso small wares and coffee and small wares that really are functional. You don't have to worry about them. They just work. And that's what they love about this. So if you need functional small wares for your cafe, shot glasses, whisks, pitchers, knock boxes, and that kind of thing, Rattleware has been doing this for decades. And they are one of the industry's best examples of a company that keeps the end user in mind in a sort of empathy in the way they create, in the way what they stock and how they approach business. So I love them. I think you will too. Go to rattleware.com. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something that I think is really critical for this time of year. Every year, I tend to, my mom was like this. It's very sentimental, very, like I can get nostalgic to a fault, and I can, I view things as special in their time. When Thanksgiving comes around, I'm like, okay, time to think about what I'm thankful for. And so I don't know, those of you who have been listening for a long time, I like to think about what we're thankful for and talk about thankfulness in general, because like today's episode's title suggests, there's a certain kind of thankfulness that we can exercise that is a belief. It's not really a thankfulness where we say, well, yeah, I'm just really thankful for this, I'm thankful for that, but it doesn't really impact me. I don't feel it in my bones. I haven't sat with it long enough to really understand the implications of being thankful, what that means for what I do after I say what I'm thankful for. So if I can just kind of share with you what I have been challenged by in this phase of life, as I've been married 17 years. My son is about to turn 12, and I've had a career in coffee for 26 years. You don't get to this point in life without learning a lot of things about yourself. And one of those things that you learn about yourself, and this is just me, but I think it's a lot of people as well, is giving verbal assent to things that we know are good things that we know we should do and aspire to. And we aspire to these things a lot of times in words, but with their actions, it's easy for even to stop recording this. And then the rest of the day, maybe I don't think about thankfulness. Maybe I don't think about, well, if you are thankful for, these things, then what are you doing to really show that in a real way? The way we talk about values in the business of the coffee shop, it's similar to that. It doesn't matter if you say you believe in empathy or hospitality and kindness if you don't operate with those things in the moments where you feel the most tempted to not do those things, or you don't have a disciplined pursuit of those things and to take it so seriously that it is, before your mind, in the forefront of your mind every day. And so In the same way, when you think about what you're thankful for, first of all, it's easy because of today's media to look out into the world and see only the worst things that you can see. War and unrest and tragedy is just highly, highly available. When we talk about accessibility, we're like, we want everyone to have coffee. The media wants everybody to be freaked the heck out. And there's a lot of things to be freaked out about. It's legitimately things that we can say, well, what is there to be thankful for? Because look at this, look at that. Okay. But the ability to do something about most of the things you see is, for the most part, zero. There are some things that we have access to within the scope of our social networks and our businesses, et cetera, that we have the ability to affect. But the effectiveness of our work in our being is taken down many notches by despair and an allergy to being positive, because we feel like positivity is irresponsible and nihilism is realism. This is getting philosophical here, but the point is, we are people who don't really live truly in reality 100%. We favor and have a bias for the negative. And so if we don't, just like affirmation in the cafe, when you're a bad news manager, everybody sees you coming and it's bad news, right? That's not a good thing, because you need to be the kind of person where it's like a 5-to-1 ratio, like 5 positive interactions to 1 that's maybe challenging, if you can maybe pursue that as a metric. But the point is, we can do that to ourselves. We could receive a ton of things. And if we don't recognize and make a discipline of recognizing those things, if we're not thankful for our customers, our baristas, equipment, coffee, if we're not thankful for an opportunity to open the business at all, in spite, because we know that it's really difficult to run the business, or we know that one barista is really giving us problems, or that boss of ours is really just a piece of work. And that's what we focus on. And so we think, well, what do I have to be thankful for? And you asked me that question, I couldn't really tell you. It's kind of your responsibility to explore it. And it really is on you to take a realistic look at the world around you and don't leave out the positive. Thinking about things you're thankful for means you really have to allow yourself, it's a personal vulnerability, to receive that there are things that are positive happening in your life, and they are things that you can let yourself feel good about. And not only that, to get to the point here, the reason I wanted to record this is, when you honestly believe the thankfulness that you feel, belief creates action. You become a person when you are somebody who's thankful, not just somebody who said once that you were thankful, but you actually embody thankfulness. That creates a lot more opportunity for good things to happen for those around you and to you yourself, no matter if you're going through challenging circumstances or not. And so we all have our unique situations where we're going through it, and I'm no exception. There's been so much turmoil this year, with just internally and externally, the passing of my mother. There's, not to get, too personal necessarily, but there's a lot of stuff that you have to work through. And the range of emotions that work tends to bring out in us, it threatens to destroy us. And it really does. And so it's easy to kind of play some kind of a cynic during this time. It's easy to simply let the despair wash over you. But I want to encourage you to really fight for perspective and fight to discover the things that are worth being thankful for, the people, the circumstances, the opportunities, everything. And open yourself up to being changed in a positive way by those realizations. And don't just stop now. While this is in the air, it's nice to think about it. But by this time next year, maybe it will be easier for you to say, yeah, we've got some challenges, but here are some things that I hold dear and precious and I'm thankful for every day. And that thankfulness, it's literally a part of me, and it makes me want to fight for those things. I'm fighting to promote and enhance and spread and do this all through coffee in our shop and our relationships And the, challenges too, even the things that we find challenging, how can we be thankful for those things in a mind that's set on those things in that way? And a mind that has that kind of a disposition is a mind that can more easily overcome, and a mind that can more easily be a good boss, be a person who gets through a challenging or even a toxic situation that you're in. It's not irresponsible to be thankful. It's actually very responsible to practice thankfulness. I would say start your days with some journalings, with some dwell. As a Christian, I think about the verse that talks about like setting your mind on things that are good and true and lovely. And whatever that means for you, I think that's worth pursuing. I can't see a downside, because I don't think we have to worry about bad news reaching our ears. But the pathway for things that are positive and things that we're thankful for, it's harder for those things to get to us. And we need to allow them to get to us. We need to seek it out, because people are counting on us. I'm not as good of a father or husband or professional when I'm simply allowing entropy to happen. Like I'm just throwing myself into the day without any kind of fight for something. I'm just allowing the bad news to wash over me. And I know that just doesn't lead to a very powerfully positive life. And so in the pressure cooker of the coffee shop, in the work you do, if you have authority and leadership and that burden to serve others, and it's a great burden, it's something that we pursue with humility and a mantle of responsibility, it adds even more pressure, right? And now the holidays are upon us, and there's a lot more work involved, but all the more reason for us to lean into these kinds of ways of thinking and make thankfulness a real part of who we are, something we actually believe. And if you believe it, it leads to lifestyle change, and it creates a better cafe. It creates a better culture, and it allows us to more easily recognize, honor, and care for the people, the community, and the business. So that's what I have to share with you this week. And as always, we'll see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.